Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show, where we talk to authors from all over the world about their books, about their labors, what they have coming up next. If you're about to pick your next read, you're going to want to think about getting this one right here, Wolf of the Aegean. It's the first in a series of 3. And not only do I have the book here, by the way, I also have the author here somewhere. Let's see if I can find him. There he is. Author is Daniel McKenzie. Welcome, Daniel.
Good to see you, Professor.
Tell our viewers where you are.
I'm located north of San Francisco, about an hour.
About an hour north there. And the covers of the book, by the way, there's a third book coming out. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I got a sneak preview of the cover of that third book. But tell us about this one, or about the whole series, Wolf of the Aegean.
It's an actual 4-novel series, or saga, which is titled Seafourthe Saga. I utilize that name because I'm from Clan McKenzie, and we are called, our chieftain is called the Earl of Seaforth, peerage name he took
Wow.
400 years ago.
I'm guessing
So,
that's from
Seafourthe
Scotland.
Saga.
Is that from,
First book is Wolf, huh?
that's from Scotland?
Yes.
Of course.
The first book is titled Wolf of the Aegean, which is the setting and the reasons for going against empires. Second book is called Wolves and Empires, and that's when he's sent to France on a loan from the Orthodox Church that he was privateering for. And he and Richelieu hit it off. They think alike, I think, themes. And he begins the expansion even to the Spanish Main, and then returns. And then the third book, which is I'm going over the proofread right now to get it printed, is I titled it Silken Dragons because they're going to the China Seas
Ah. Now,
and
I
to
just
obtain
happen to
silk
have,
to corner the market.
I just happen to have what I think might be on the cover. It's a big sailing ship.
Yeah, that's going to be the cover for
Nice.
the third novel.
Yeah. That's a work of art in itself, the cover.
I was happy to find it wasn't copyrighted too. So
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Now, 3 books so far, and I like a saga. You said it's a saga. I love that. It just makes it sound more exciting. And there's going to be how many total?
4 books with a possible 5th, maybe. It popped in, you know. So, but this is it's. Let's just say that my editor, a good friend too, by the way. That's what he does for, well, professor, university back in Vermont.
Yeah.
He mentioned to me it's about time somebody writes a saga. So when I must have hit it. So we'll see. We'll
That's
see.
nice. That's nice. Now, you've already pretty much finished. I'm always interested in the process of getting a book written, finished writing, because I can never seem to finish writing a book and then publish. So right now you're in the process of the third book. Is it pretty much written?
It's completely finished and gone over by me. Sent it off for the proofread, and I get final approval on the proofread.
Yeah.
By the way, so I'm going through little over 160,000 words right now. We spoke of tediamus.
Yeah. Tell us that again. We were off the air. Go ahead and tell our viewers.
A friend of mine and I were a great man. I loved him dearly. We grew up together. We were in Latin class, probably 9th grade, maybe 10th. I forget. I remember the name of the Latin book. It's very popular, and I can't think of it right now. It's known. Cranksworth or something. I don't know. So he said to me, as we were in a test, translating, I'm sure, he looked at me and he said, Tedium, tediamus, tediamat. Yes, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Very tedious, no doubt. Now, I'd imagine that, I mean, you write the book and it takes you forever to write it. Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, so you send it off to proofreaders and editors to catch little errors, I would imagine.
A lot of white spaces to be utilized, and he suggested I put in italics thoughts. Pretty much what I'm doing right now.
Right now, yeah.
And a few commas, you know.
Yeah. These are pretty significant books. I mean, they're not a little thin book. It's quite a volume. Is that correct?
That's very true.
You don't have to have one you can hold up, do you?
what was it? About 1 million words is now at about a half a mil.
Half a million. Do you have a book, one of your first two that you can hold up so we can see how thick they are?
Yep.
Just happen to have one there.
I'm in my messy writing room. Forgive me, I'll get it.
Yeah, I have the covers here, but these are pretty significant books, and there we go.
This is the first book,
Okay.
Wolf of the Aegean.
Yeah, it shows how thick it is. Yeah, it's going to be a chore to get through. I can't wait. I have not started the first one yet, but it's in my stack to tackle, so I'm pretty excited about it. By the way, who's going to like these books? Who will read this kind of stuff? Besides nerds like me.
Those of us that love history.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've sold a few to friends of my sons that are younger people, well, not that much younger, but younger, that are enthralled with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've sold it to people sitting at my favorite diner, and they tell me, well, I never realized history could be so interesting.
Yeah.
You're telling me. I couldn't
Yeah.
get my hands off it,
Well, if you find
And,
the right writer.
all genre of people and book,
Yeah.
It seems to work that way. Interesting story. It's quick. I was sitting in my favorite diner one morning at dawn, well, almost a little after dawn, having breakfast, because I was in the midst of everything else. And two gentlemen in rough-hewn clothes were sitting in a booth, and I had this Wolf of the Aegean with me as I was going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them says, "What do you got there?" And I said, "Something I wrote." He looked at it, he goes, click, click, starts taking pictures of it. And I said, "What's going on?" He said, "My friend and I are seafarers, and we just came to San Francisco and moored, and we're on our way to Kauai,
Ah,
and I'm going to buy them before we leave." And that was at the beginning of pretty much all of this. So
Wow.
on. Yeah. Good portent.
yeah. Daniel, it's pretty exciting that the third book would be out. And tell me a little more about your process. You sit down every day and write? Are you very disciplined?
My friend, I was friends with Jim Morrison of the Doors.
Wow.
And he called me Bo, or Boldy. That was his nickname for me.
Uh-huh.
And one day he said to me, in that year there was an intense visitation of energy. And that's about as much as he went that, he was more of a poet than anything else. One of the finest poets, I think,
Yes.
anyway. One of the finest. And, yes, an intense visitation of energy, a chapter a day, carrying on till I finally thought I was finished, and I had 4 volumes worth.
For Williams. I think the book of you knowing Jim Morrison is the one I'd like to read.
Oh,
Maybe
hope his pals don't get mad.
maybe after you finish this saga, you could do a book on your life with knowing Jim Morrison. I'm sure you had a lot of other interesting things going on as well. Tell us, Daniel, where we can find this book.
Okay, the books are located through any bookstore, the majors, the internet. It's available quite readily.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem finding them. It just is getting more to read them.
Yeah.
But, I have to leave this with you though. It's a story of retribution.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, love at first sight is not a myth. And redemption.
Nice.
An enduring love story, by the way, in the midst of piracy.
In the midst of piracy.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating. I'm very fascinated by you and by the books too. And that
By the way, many historical characters are referenced.
they're referenced. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially Cardinal Richelieu. I kind of like him. Sorry.
That's all right. Now, did it take you a lot of research?
Oh, I could show you the stack right now, but I won't bother to try to grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I love a well-researched book, historical fiction kind of book. I love any author that's Scottish. I try to read those first. Daniel, they're telling us we're almost out of time. I just want to give you a minute. Anything else you want to tell our viewers about your books or anything in the world?
It's not something that you have to labor through. It moves as if we're at sea swiftly. It very philosophical concerning empires and the oppressed, but still in all, action, adventure, and a deep understanding of the heart. There we go.
Thank you, Daniel. And for our viewers, here's the books: Wolf of the Aegean, Wolves. What's the second
And
one?
Empires. Wolves and Empires is the second one.
Wolves and Empires, and the
That
third
are
one,
out now.
and the third one's coming soon. And what's that going to be called?
Will be launched within 2 months.
2 months. Thank you, Daniel McKenzie. And for our viewers, don't go anywhere. We're going to have another author coming up right after this.
Thank you, Professor.